just a little clue for how this one's going to go today. Hello, good morning, welcome back wherever you are in the world, on the internet, joining me today. If you don't know me, my name's Kate. I'm a 2025 bride, although I hate kind of saying that because I'm not. I'm Kate, I'm my own person, and I have a life outside of being a bride. But I am also getting married in May 2025. I'm not going to make a hefty intro to this one. I just wanted to kind of brief it and preface with everything that went on the hen. I would say was pretty tame. There was nothing that I'm afraid to report on or anything kind of untoward happening. The whole reason I'm doing this video is just because I would be interested in seeing somebody else's hen do if it were me on the viewer's side. So I just wanted to go through things like basically what we did, our itinerary for the weekend, things like we kind of had in terms of like hen do merch, is that what it would be called? Basically we had like some t-shirts made, we had tote bags, obviously you can see the mug. I can't stop talking about it. I tell everybody who asks, even if they don't ask, I'm telling them about the hen do. So I thought, why not just make a little video about it and actually get it off my chest and stop talking about it over a week later. The problem is this was the standard that was set Friday night. I think I'd like to start at the beginning. What is it Julie Andrews says? A very good place to start, or the big, yeah, whatever it was, from Sound of Music, I think it was. Where do I actually begin? I've said before in another video, I will take this off now actually, but it's just gorgeous and I'm sad I don't get to wear it again. Well, I can wear it again. I wear it on the wedding day, imagine. It doesn't say bride to be, it says bride. I think I'll begin with a very brief, like when we got there. We had 3 days. We rented a massive Airbnb, kind of booking.com, a massive house basically. And oh my God, honestly, arriving there, so I'll have put the weekly vlog of when the hen actually happened. That'll be up if you want to like see the house, and there's like kind of snippets. If not, I'll put some photos like on the screen now. But it was just the most beautiful, old, like full of character house. And I walked in completely overwhelmed. I was under the impression that I would be arriving and that people would be kind of getting there throughout the evening as the evening wore on. No, that wasn't the case. What actually happened was I walked in, and where the staircase was, it was this enormous hallway you walked into, and the staircase was up all the way, kind of curving round then, so that the top of the stairs were actually looking out the front of the house. And all of the hens, I guess is that what they're called, they were all stood up the stairs, so I literally walked in. And it's so cringy because the video that I'm in of me like arriving, they played Dancing Queen, there were lights going off everywhere, they were all just dancing and singing, and I look up and I literally look up at the faces like literally behind me up there, and I'm so overwhelmed. I literally burst into tears. And in the video, because it's a bit grainy and you can't really see because it's quite dark, I literally stood there like a wooden plank. I'm like so overwhelmed. Like I said, my impression was people were going to be getting there, we'd have like pizza pajamas and like a really chilled evening. So we get there, we walk upstairs, and it was literally only me and my friend, my bridesmaid actually. So 2 of them were already there, and then 1 of them arrived with me. And then it was my mother-in-law, and then actually my fiance, so Jake, actually drove the car. When we got there, he drove the car back. So actually Jake came in and actually he met a couple of the people as well, because he hasn't actually met everybody. So that was nice for him, although they were a bit, I think they'd had a couple when we got there. So they were quite lively, and he was kind of like, you know, who are you? So we go in the house and we go upstairs, and our room that they've given us, we go, like everywhere's decorated, there's fairy lights everywhere, and they've hung all of these like hundreds of pictures of me and my friends, and there's kind of like one with everyone at the hen do's there, and they're all strung along these fairy lights all around like the dining room. You've got kind of like, you know, the door, like, is it streamers like over the door? They were like a rose gold, the balloons everywhere. There's this incredible balloon arch in the living room, which actually I didn't even know until afterwards. My friends made by hand that day when they got there. You'll see the remnants. I think you can see the BR, but basically the I, we've got bride to be, it spells out. The I, it got slammed in the car door, and we were bringing them back. So we go upstairs and we see the house, and like we're having it at the grand tour. There are on the bed these tote bags laid out, although mine's actually kind of full of stuff now, and they're all personalised. So they had like their name, and then it was to like Kate's Hen Party, Bournemouth 2025, and then each person had like a kind of, not a different role to be fair, we didn't have everyone different, but like mine says the one where I'm the bride. If you don't know, this is the theme of the Friends titles, so every episode is titled the one where, and then it's something happens. The dots as well, they're all in the Friends colours. And I'm a bit annoyed because I've actually emptied mine now. So in there was a bridal sash, and it said like bride to be, it was white, which actually, no, I have it here actually instead. So it was just this little sash of bride to be, and I did wear that all weekend. There were t-shirts. I'm such a sucker for a t-shirt, but yeah, so they matched the bag. And then, you know, on the same note as that, obviously I showed you the mug. So it's the one where I'm, unlike the bridesmaids had the one where I'm the bridesmaid. I'm pretty sure my mum had one where I'm the mother to be, and then, sorry, the mother to be, the mother of the bride, and then my mother-in-law had the one where I'm the mother of the groom, and then again our names on it, so they were all personalised. And these were actually laid out on the windowsill in the dining room, which had this amazing bay window. Oh my god, the house was just absolutely beautiful. I'd love to go back there again. And so one of my like lifelong friends' mum, she had put together these little goodie bags. This is actually just filled with kind of excess leftovers and stuff. Mine's currently empty, but they said Team Bride, and they had little name badges on, which I think I'll be annoyed if I've lost mine, but mine said Bride, and everyone had theirs clipped on, like, so we could also wear it. Like in the gift bag we had, I haven't actually used mine, I haven't even got around to using them, but then we had these like collagen eye masks, like the gel masks. There was like hand creams. We had these slippers, which we all ended up writing our names on in Sharpie, so glamorous. There were hair scrunchies, I can't think now, a bottle of Prosecco, like a mini bottle of Prosecco each. Oh, I can't think what else there was. Lip balm. We had love hearts, which until recently I didn't even realise were in there. Adorable. And then these little bags, which I couldn't believe it, they have these like handmade soaps in them, and they honestly, I've never smelled soap like that in my life. They're so nice, all different kind of, I don't know what flowers these are, but they're gorgeous. I don't want to use, this is the problem with me and things like that, I don't want to use them because then they're gone. So I think that kind of encompasses like the main part. I literally walked around and I got shoved a bottle of Prosecco with a straw in it. Oh, we had straws as well. A lot of them said like Team Bride, and mine was white. It said Bride to be, and it was a little heart. We also had, I suppose I'll bring them out. This is what I mean by like I have all of the kind of leftovers. So in, I'm getting confused with like the goodie bag and then like the tote bag. There we go. There was like the hand cream, you know, just so nice. It's such nice touches as well. So we each had one of these. I'm gutted, I didn't even get to use mine the whole weekend. I wore it, I didn't get to use it. It's just a shot glass on a string necklace, kind of beaded necklace, and it just said mine said Bride to be, and the others, they had, it was black, so their t-shirts were black, their tote bags, no, the tote bags were white, but the t-shirts were black. Everyone got given one of these cups, so these were all around a massive bucket of ice, which had like Prosecco and wine and different drinks in it on like to chill. So there was plenty to, and we all wrote our names. I actually lost mine. Mine said Bride. Stop it. Why do these things happen when people are watching? I've just found it. I can't believe that. I looked everywhere for that and I couldn't find it anywhere. Anyway, found my Bride cup. So mine said Bride, and it just meant that we could use them, have our names on it, and not get mixed up, and also not use and then break the glasses provided by the house. They have black sashes, which actually I have a couple of these kind of like, they were left over. I think they must have ordered them as like a 20 when there were only actually 17 of us. So they had Team Bride, and that's what theirs, you know, all weekend they wore the sashes and the t-shirts. And do you know what? We looked pretty cool. I think, I say cool, I think we looked really good because we all matched, and we didn't have like, we weren't dressed up. And I mean, do whatever you want for your hen to, but we weren't dressed up as anything like kind of random or silly. We just had like black and white t-shirts on, and I thought it was quite like simple but effective. So I've already showed you the crown. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't get over it. It's so heavy as well. The problem is I've got such a big head, and I mean it has to literally just about sit on my head. I have to like stretch it to get around my head. So I did actually wear that, and I mean it's pretty sturdy on there, but I did wear that on the Friday night with my pajamas on, and oh my god, we just had such a party. We were dancing all night. People kind of just took themselves to bed quietly, and they went off without the kind of, is it called like an Irish goodbye, like where you leave it like an event or a party and you don't make a point of being like to the host like, oh, you know, thank you for having me, I'm going to, they just went to bed. It was great. I think I thought as well like I would relax so much, because I thought the second I get there I'm then gonna know what's going on. Well, of course I didn't know until, I mean, Sunday morning, the last surprise. So I literally, even though I was there, and even though I was thinking to myself, well, I'm gonna have, you know, Friday night, I'll get to know the plan, I'll get to talk to people. No, they were still completely secretive with me. No one told me a thing, which obviously, like, in retrospect, I do really appreciate. But at the time I was like, I just want to know what's happening. And I kept saying to Maria, we were sharing a room, and I was saying to her, I was like, I just feel really like wound up and like anxious, because I just felt really antsy because I wanted to know what the plan was. But at least I had my answer to what I was going to wear on Saturday, which was obviously the t-shirt and jeans, because this whole time I was planning like a nice top and even like an outfit. So for this part of the video, I'm just going to go through what we actually did, the activities, how we planned them, and how everyone got on. The Saturday morning we were up relatively early. I can't remember. I know we woke up quite early every day. I know I did anyway, because I was like kind of, I didn't want to miss out. I could hear people talking and I was like, you know, what's going on? I want to be involved. So we all got up, we had a cup of coffee, tea, orange juice. One of my friend's mums, she's actually a cook, and she prepared the most amazing, we had bacon, sausage and egg rolls, and they were absolutely amazing. So we were all fueled up, ready for the day. We headed off. We actually left about 10:15. We had to walk, bear in mind the activity that I knew we had something planned at 11, I didn't know what it was exactly. We had to walk 45 minutes all the way through Bournemouth, down like by the pier, up the other side then. So what it turned out to be was and I did actually know this, it was a drag race inspired, like a RuPaul's Drag Race dance class. This was from 11 until 1 p.m. I thought it was only an hour. It turns out it was 2 hours. The instructor we had, her name was Lucy. I forget was it Madame Peaches? I can't remember the organizer, but all of this was booked through, and I believe all of it was booked through GoHen. I haven't actually used them because I didn't plan this, but I know that my mum and like the bridesmaids, when they were planning it, they used GoHen. And I think they found 3 activities. We had 3 activities and it was all through that website, I believe. Oh, and I forgot. Okay, I had this to wear all day. So I had my sash, my t-shirt on, and I had it's a bit stuck together there, just a bride-to-be little veil. And to be fair, I didn't have anything in my hair to keep it in, but it did sit quite well. I didn't want to take this off. I was sat here last week, like honestly I felt like going to my team meeting and work with this on. I didn't want to stop being a bride-to-be. So we all wandered in and it was really nice because I started at the back of the group and I kind of like snaked my way through and like kind of, I think I spoke to everybody on the way and I ended up at the very front. And as we were walking in, like people were beeping their horns, they were shouting, they were waving, and they would be like in good jest. It wasn't like, because I know some hen dos and stag parties, they get a lot of stick because I feel like you kind of get what you give, but we were just literally walking along, minding our own business. They could see my veil and they were just beeping their horns and I loved it. So we go, we get to this hotel and that's the other side of the city. And the dance class, I was brilliant. It was so much fun. We did, I forget exactly, but we kind of, at the beginning, it was like an icebreaker, think of your drag name, which was the only criticism I had because we took a lot of time to like go around everybody when I think the brief was come with one prepared. I was going to be Henrietta. I think some people had like picked a drag name before, but it didn't matter. We went around everybody. We were all stood like in a big circle and we went around everybody's. It was like your favourite drink, your first pet, and there was something else, like the kind of components to make up your drag name. We then did like some practicing some posing, so it was kind of like the different, I forget what it was now. So the instructor, she led us through some kind of different poses and like she would name them. There was about 4, I think, or 5. And like she would name them, then we'd have to like strike the pose. We then did drag on a dime, where you dress up and you use like bin bags, tissue paper, like things like that, tinsel, whatever you've got that's kind of nearby. And you dress up one person and you like obviously see who's got the best one. I feel like my group smashed it. I looked sick. I think they did really, really good. Everybody just looked great. It was so funny. So we took that off. We then practiced some like walking and strutting and then we learned a dance routine. There was just a lot to it. And I think the instructor, I know the instructor was getting quite frustrated because there were 17 of us. The room was really hot because of the way that the sun was. It was literally coming straight into the glass doors and people who were on that side of the dance class were right in the sun. So like fair play to them. They were troopers, they stuck at it and they did amazing. So we did like a little catwalk to CoverGirl, put their base, if you don't know it, it's from Drag Race. And then we did a dance routine to, I think it's called Sissy That Walk. Anyway, but so I can still remember that and I would honestly love, I don't want to say it because it'll ruin the surprise. I would love to do like a flash mob at the wedding of the routine that we did. Anyway, that probably won't happen. We couldn't even get it right on the day, let alone in like 2 months' time and remember everything. So at the end of that, we did perform our final performance of the dance. It was about 2 minutes long. We did really well to get through so much of the routine and remember everything. So we had that. We then, I think there was like a gap. We went back down to the pier. We went to I can't remember the name of the place now, Aruba. It was Aruba because we were singing there, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take. We went to Aruba and we got in, I think we had like 3 bottles of Prosecco, had some cocktails, and we just sat in a booth in the corner and took in the atmosphere, like we were just sat there. I think I was under the impression that we had something planned, but it was like a lot later on. We were there for, it was an hour or so. We were just kind of decompressing and chilling. So I got up with my friend. We went and took some photos. There was like a bathtub and it was such a nice place in there. It was one of those places like Turtle Bay where you've just got like loads of different corners to take photos in and it was really, really nice. We went to the loo, we came back and my mother-in-law, she was stood up and like, I'm thinking, where is she going? And she's like, so at the time, Jake, my fiance, he'd gone fishing that day with his younger brother. So she was stood up, everyone was looking at her, and I'm like, me and Beth, like, I was like, what's going on? My mind was in complete overdrive. She said, I've got to go, Jake's gone missing. My heart sank. I fully believed her. She was just like, no, we have to go, Jake's gone missing. He's fallen in the lake. And I was like, I think somebody at the time, they said, no, we've got to go. And they said, oh, like, Jake's gone missing. And I went, oh, we better go and find him then. And like it twigged. I was like, okay, this is like some sort of setup of like, I don't know what's going on, but I knew it was like a setup. So she came out of the booth, grabbed me, we went downstairs. I didn't have a jacket on, I literally just had like my t-shirt on and my phone in my pocket. I didn't have anything with me. So we went outside and we were stood there and I was like, sorry, you have to be real with me, like is this actually real, like has Jake gone missing? And I think she did say like, no, like it's part of like the next thing. And I was like, oh my God. So we then had to split into 2 teams. 2 of my bridesmaids, they had downloaded this app. I think it was called it wasn't called Find the Groom, but it was something based on, you have a scenario of the groom has gone missing, he's in debt, he was involved in this horrendous like strip club scandal, and the bouncer got hold of him. I don't know what it was, I can't remember, but there was like people who had to go and visit, which were based in different parts around the city. So we went into the town centre. Honest to God, I would have loved to have seen the CCTV footage from that day, where you've got the best part of 20 women running around like actual headless chickens, squawking and screaming and running and pushing people up. Well, we didn't push anybody, but we were literally dodging in between people. There were people everywhere. It was such a busy day, and I now understand when they said like, oh, we hope it's gonna be good weather on the weekend, because it was amazing weather. I'm thinking this would have completely ruined it. If it had been bad weather, we would not have been able to do that at all, although it would have been quieter, but we would have needed brollies, we would have been soaked. So we're running around, we're going to these points, we're getting clues, we're uncovering, you know, like different mysteries, and each time you stop, I think you have to take like a photo, like this siren will go off and it's your phone, you have to read the clue, and then you have to like perform a random dance. You have to take a photo of you doing a specific thing. And actually what happened at the very end of it, we had the chance to save the videos and photos, so we got to look back at each team and how they did. But I would say the only flaw with that was that we didn't get to know, it was like 60 minutes were up, and then we had to wait to the 90th minutes, we had to wait like half an hour for the kind of result to like actually figure out like who done it. So we went to the beach huts, we took some photos, and at this point people were getting quite tired. We hadn't eaten lunch, like we had literally had breakfast. I hadn't eaten because I was a bit like too excited, I couldn't eat anything in the morning, so like I was starting to get hungry, people were kind of breaking off from the group, and like it's a lot of people to kind of organise. So that would be my only criticism. I think we were all in agreement with like it was like too much excitement in like an hour, and then there was nothing for half an hour, and then when there was, we had to go all the way back to the centre. So we had walked, if you know Bournemouth, like we were literally by the beach huts, and then we had to go all the way back to literally the central point where the taxis are. It wasn't ideal. People did they did go back to the house, and they split off from the group. I don't even know where half people went, but I got them a taxi number from the tourist information place, and I think at that point it was a bit like kind of it was going on a bit too long, so I think the other team figured out who did it, and we solved the mystery. We got a taxi back then, got back to the house. Now this next part is viewer discretion advised. I had said I don't want basically men at the hen do, if you catch my drift. We were just literally sat around having a coffee, had a bit of cake. They put a daffodil like head on me, you know, I used to at rugby games, they'd dress the daffodil. They put that on me because it was St David's Day at the time. We were just having a bit of a giggle and like talking about we were watching the videos and like talking about the day, how it had gone. And I knew something was planned for the evening, but I just didn't know what it was. Again, I was still in the dark, and I was still feeling that kind of unsettled feeling of, oh, I just want to know what's happening. My mum came in and she went to everybody else, is everybody here? And I'm looking at her thinking, oh, I'm not happy about this. And she said, okay, Kate, in an hour, a man is going to come to the house and he's going to take his clothes off. I immediately looked at my eyes and my eyes up to my friend, and she knows me very, very well, and she went, don't worry, it's not a stripper. She said, don't worry, it's not. I kind of was like, I don't know how to feel right now. Because yeah, I had said to like Jake, like, oh, you know, I don't want these things, and if they did that, I wouldn't be happy. And like so many conversations that we'd had. And also for like his stag do of like, what's the standard going to be set by the hen do? Because his stag is in a month and a bit. Anyway, it was for a life drawing class. I mean, I tell you, I spent that hour feeling a bit uneasy, and people were getting a bit like kind of worked up, but it was brilliant. I would actually highly recommend it. I think that was like one of the most memorable parts, but like we weren't drunk. We had like a few drinks, but we weren't drinking really. A woman came, she arrived as like, I guess she was like a chaperone, but they called her the tutor. And then the model arrived. So I actually walked in first, which to be fair he had a dressing gown on, so I was like, okay. I sat down, and where I was, luckily the ice bucket was positioned kind of in the way, and I was quite far away from the action. But no, it was an hour, and do you know what? I think actually it was nice to have something that felt like a hen do, because I'm not going to do that again like on my own time. I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. But it kind of tied it in as like, yeah, that was like a once in a lifetime experience. Honestly, I would do it again. I'm not even being like a weirdo. I genuinely think it was fascinating. And we did like challenges, so they would say, right, 30 seconds, you know, got his kit off, and then we'd had to draw like 30 seconds as best we could, and then we'd like vote for the best one, because there were so many of us though, and we were all kind of spread out along that massive table. It did get quite hard to manage, so like at one point I had to walk around and like kind of rate each one, but there were so many, and it was a bit much. After that, we were all like, you know, decompressing. One of the girls, who I won't name her, but she knows who she is, she was saying to me, she's like, I do not want this, I'm not happy about this, I don't want to see anything, I don't want to be here, I don't want to take part. And I think a few people had said that kind of thing, but not as like directly as she had to me. And I was sat next to her the whole time. Honestly, by the end, they said, right, 15 minutes left. She's like, 15 minutes, is that it? No, I need more. It just goes to show, as long as you've got the right company and the right kind of, I guess, tutor. The model was great as well. Like he was older, and I mean, he was a very normal kind of guy. face is all I'm gonna say. And yeah, I honestly think it was great. You know, I think it was the most tame, but like also at the same time out there Hendo activity that we could have done. So at this point, it's like 7 p.m, it's Saturday night. I'm thinking, right, we're gonna have a party, we're gonna have some food. We had lasagnas all made. I went upstairs, I got dressed, I started to cry. I went and found then my friend and her mum, and I just had like a hug because I was just so overwhelmed and there was a lot to take in. I come downstairs, I feel great, I redid my makeup, and I made a stand in the corner. I'm thinking, for God's sake, like how many more surprises there are actually going to be? Because at this point I was getting a bit, I need to eat, because I just hadn't really eaten the whole weekend because I was so full of adrenaline. I was like, I actually really haven't eaten. I barely drank any alcohol and I hadn't really had any water, so I was kind of feeling a lot of things. I'm called in, I go in the living room, and there's a blanket being held up by two of the hens. Made to walk in with my eyes. I did get a glimpse of the blanket, but I was made to walk in, and I sat down, front row seat. My friend announces, for one night and one night only, Sue and the Dynamos. Drops the blanket, and there's my mum and two of her best friends stood either side with microphones like this. If you don't know the reference, here it is. Donna and the Dynamos is the Mamma Mia version. This was Sue and the Dynamos. We screamed, I cried. They put on an amazing dance routine that they'd actually learned. They'd actually got together and organised this and learned a dance routine. Honestly, when I say to you that had been the one thing that I just had wished and prayed for. I'm not religious, but like I'd been praying to somebody for it to happen. I hadn't said to my mum, I hadn't even hinted or insinuated, you know, like I'd love for that to happen, because I feel like it's one of those things where if you say, I want that to happen, when it does, it's like, it's not organic, it's not a natural, you know, you've asked for that, so it's not a surprise. Oh my God, it was absolutely, I was just glued to them the whole time. I was watching them, everyone was enjoying themselves, I was singing and dancing and joining in, and when it finished then, I just had such a warm feeling. I got up, I gave them a hug, and I was crying. One of my friends, she was crying for like 2 hours afterwards. She's not even an ABBA fan. She was just like so overwhelmed with like the love and the experience. And at this point, I mean, I had my little heels on, I was dressed up, I was taking photos. Everything was just feeling amazing. And I was kind of, again, in like a kind of the corner by one of the doors and chatting to a couple of the girls, and somebody, I forget who it was now, somebody came over, I think it was my mum actually. She came over and she said, okay, there is one more surprise. When I say I literally slid down the wall, I was like, what more? I actually can't take any more surprises. And she said, do you want to know what it is, or do you want it to happen a bit later on? And I think what it was they were trying to figure out when food was going to be done and when we were going to do the thing. So at this point, I don't even know what I was feeling. I don't have the words. I said I just need to know. I need to know what it is, because I can look forward to it and I can like prepare myself. It was a silent disco. Well, when I say I had the biggest smile, I was so excited. And my friend, bless her, she had, I think she kind of got herself roped into it a little bit, because I think she'd hosted, or she'd had a silent disco at hand before that she'd arranged, and everyone kind of, you know, they knew that, so they were like, oh, you know, would you mind just setting up the silent disco? So bless her, like a couple of them sat down, they got everything sorted. If you don't know what a silent disco is, it's where you have headphones. Everyone has a pair of headphones, and there's 3, I think there can be more, but it's normally 3 different like music channels, and you use a button on the side of the headphones to flick between which kind of playlist you want to be on. So that we had an 80s, it was like 80s mixed with kind of, I don't think it was 80s actually, yeah, mainly 80s music. Then there was like a noughties one, kind of, it was like noughties, 90s, more like a throwback playlist. And then there was also a kind of like more modern day like chart music one. It was just incredible. It was so much fun. I actually lost my voice that night. When Sunday morning came, I could barely speak. My throat was so sore. I thought I had a cold. I felt so ill and run down. But I actually wasn't. I didn't get ill the whole time, which was nothing short of a miracle. So yeah, I didn't even have lasagna that night. Honest to God, like I was so just excited. I missed out on dinner. Everybody else ate. We had the silent disco, it was set up, and it was just so much fun. I've never had so much fun in my entire life. I think that was probably, I say it was the highlight. It was just like the cherry on top. It's all tied in together. Everyone loved it. And people could as well, they could sit there like on the sofa, listen to the music and just kind of observe, because you've got colours, I've got to say. With the silent disco, it's like colour coded. So there was green, red and blue on ours. If you can see your colour, then you know, okay, if I'm red and that person's red, we can dance together, we can sing the same song, because that's what the channel they're on. I mean, by the end of the night, I can't lie, like we just got hold of the playlist and we just put on, like I just kept putting on Pitbull, and we were putting on different songs, like trying to trying to find Busted. And there were, I think by the end, there were 4 of us left. Yeah, there were 4 of us left. So 2 bridesmaids out of 3, which was pretty good. I thought, yeah, I've chosen well there. And then one of my other friends and then me. Heels had come off at that point. And we went to bed, I think it was 2 a.m. It was a good effort. It was a good effort made on our part. And then we're Sunday morning, people started to head home. We actually had like a little viewing party where the living room was so big and the TV was kind of on the mantelpiece. We put on all of the photos, all of the videos, well, not all of them, but the majority, and we showed like the video of like mum doing the Super Trooper dance from the night before with her friends, and she was just cackling, like she found that so funny. And I think because it was like the expectation of how they thought they'd look versus how they actually looked kind of thing. I was presented with the most incredible, so my bridesmaid came in and she said, in front of everybody at the table at breakfast, came in and she said, okay, Kate, we do have one final surprise. And I literally almost slid off the chair. I was like, guys, I actually can't take it anymore. And she said, we've all signed and put our favourite photos of you in this little hen book. So it just says Kate's hen, and it was tied with a beautiful little ribbon at the side. There's a few blank pages at the very back, so I can put in, I think what I'll do is I'll put in like my favourite photos of the weekend in here. And they wrote a message on each page, and it was just saying like, everyone shows their favourite photo of you, so here is a book of memories with your nearest and dearest, and then a lovely little message. And yeah, I've got messages then from everyone who was there from like when we were little. Some of them, I think the way that it was done as well made me laugh, because I heard like the story of trying to get done afterwards. It was a bit kind of like there were a few pages missed, but it was just amazing, and like some of the photos I haven't seen either before, like in a very, very long time. So I'm gonna keep that, and it's very, very special to me. The messages in there, they made me cry. I actually came back when I read it, when I came back on, I think it was Tuesday morning, just before I went to work. I read it and I was just sobbing on my bed. I was honestly just crying so much because they're just so lovely. One more thing I'd forgotten as well. This was in my like tote bag that was on the bed with the t-shirts and the sash and stuff. The photo isn't the best, but it's called Memory Lane, and it's just, that's Maria. This was in 2018, and it's a collection of photos of pretty much everyone who was there. So just a little photo album of some of the photos that were hung up. So I'm going to keep those in a very, very special place. I wouldn't change a single thing. Honestly, it was the most fantastic hen do, and I think my advice to any brides to be out there, like I was told, is just enjoy it, because I will never go back to having that feeling of, oh, you know, actually it was borderline dread, because I was just so worried about people getting on. I was worried about myself enjoying it and not being too overwhelmed, not drinking too much and then like being sick or feeling really hungover. But the memories, I will carry this, like, that weekend with me for the rest of my life. I just felt so loved and so special. It was just beautiful. Everyone made such an effort. Everyone was on such good form. The house was incredible. The food, the drink, every activity was so thought through and so considerate of me and what I wanted. It wasn't like I thought, oh, well, the bridesmaid, they've organised what they want to do kind of thing. Not one part. And actually, I was the one who said, Saturday night, should we all just wear something, like dress up and wear something fabulous that we feel fabulous in? And the key was that you feel fabulous in, because fabulous is different to different people. And just the fact that they did, like, everyone went and got changed, because it got to a point they were in their t-shirts like, you know what, I feel great as I am. And I thought, that's absolutely fine. I had my white outfit to wear and I was looking forward to wearing that, but not one part of me cared. I even wasn't going to redo my makeup. It was just so chilled, and I felt so relaxed and at ease and happy in their presence. And I think that's the thing, is we are just I'm just so lucky with my friends and family that we're such a great bunch of people that there's just no pressure. There's no, and I'm not saying if you're like this, but it's what makes you happy. And individually, we're not massive on Instagram. We're not really like big posers. We're not there for like the content and the photos. We were just literally there for the experience, for the memories. I barely even got some photos. So I didn't really get one with my mum. I didn't get one with Maria. I'm not even sure I got one with my bridesmaids. Like, I barely got any photos on my own, especially not like up close on the makeup, like none of it, because it just didn't matter. And there was so much going on. And I was lucky I got to a point where I did feel overwhelmed. I could go to people individually and just say like, I need a breather. And they were just amazing. And of course they were, because I know they're amazing. So honestly, my advice to any brides to be out there would just to be, make the most of it, because it does go so quickly. Honestly, I blinked and it was gone. I would say designate a photographer. Have one of the girls take photos and videos and really like capture it for you, because I didn't take hardly any. I think we used my phone to video the dance routine. I used it to take maybe some photos when we were doing like the find Jake, like find the groom, and that was it. I didn't video anything else, didn't take any photos, but I've got hundreds of photos and videos now because they've transferred them to me and we've all shared them. If you are having a house, definitely book off Monday. I mean, regardless, book off Monday, but stay Sunday night, or at least book Sunday night as an option, because you've got all day then Sunday. If you don't want to stay, if you can't stay Sunday night, you can go home Sunday night, but like, we stayed till Monday. We checked out Monday and it was just amazing. We had that time to just kind of come together. There were 7 or 8 of us left over, I think, in the end. Also, it's like time to kind of tidy up and time to just, yeah, decompress, take it all in, talk over the weekend. I would definitely recommend using something like we said, we used GoHen, because it's all structured, it's all done for you. And I think just having like things planned, it just takes out that awkward, like if you go to a bar, well, you've kind of got to make your own entertainment, which if you're the kind of group, like we're the kind of group, we could have gone out and done, we would have had fun wherever we were, whatever we were doing. But because we kind of had different age groups and, you know, different tastes and different activity levels as well, I think having something where you've got an organised activity and like a kind of routine to the, not a routine, like a structure of the day, I think that really, really helped, because unlike, I mean, I didn't know anything was going on, but if I'd been attending, at least I'd have known, okay, come 2 p.m, I've got to be walking again or running, and like, because we literally ran around the centre of town. And I just think that having that kind of not a what's the word, itinerary, have an itinerary, not a strict one. I wouldn't say you need to like print off and have 9 a.m. get up, 10 a.m. get ready, like I don't think you need it like that structured, but to have an idea so people do know and you're not being asked questions, because people are asking me questions, I'm like, I don't know anything. Like they were saying, oh, what time have I got to get ready, what time, and I'm like, girls, I don't know. It's literally a surprise to me as well. I'm in the same boat as you, go and ask somebody else. Definitely get as much food in as you can, as much food, as much drink. I just think if we, I say we, us the royal we, if we hadn't had stuff in-house, being out and about, we'd have really struggled. We would have really, really struggled with fitting that many of us in somewhere. Definitely reserve, if you're going to go anywhere, reserve the place. And just, yeah, just have enough for people to have back at the house, wherever you're staying, hotel, have snacks, have like your main meals as well, and make sure that everyone has eaten, because that was the one thing I think where people were a bit, you know, a bit touchy for the night before, a bit, you know, a bit hungover on Saturday morning, which hadn't even occurred to me because I didn't really drink that much. It hadn't even occurred people would be hungover. So I think having kind of that itinerary again, it helps of knowing, okay, I've got till 4 p.m, I've got to kind of get some chips to tide me over. And if it is going to be bad weather, make sure you've got kind of transport arranged. Definitely get taxis booked or get like a minibus, I don't know, but get, you know that you've got ways to reassure people, okay, you're going to get home this way, because we did go out and then we went back to the house. But if you're out and about and if it's pouring with rain, or if it's just, even if it's cold and there's a lot of you, you need the transport in place. I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. Just after like an hour of filming. And I honestly think my final, like, I guess tip or whatever would be to try and make the most of being present and spending time with each person. I did give a disclaimer. I think I actually stood up and said, right, I'm going to try and spend time with each and every one of you here, but if I don't get round, you know, I'm sorry. That was on Friday, and I think Saturday morning I just said, look, people, I love you, but I can't see, you know, spending time with 16 people individually and like really savouring that time. I think I did quite a good job. I don't think there was anybody that I didn't like spend like one-on-one time with, or if not, it was like smaller groups, and just kind of circulate. And yeah, come off the phone. I didn't post, I haven't even posted on like social media since I put one photo on, and I don't have any regrets. I don't have anything that I would go back and change. There's nothing that I would add as an extra. I just wanted more time. So for my brides to be out there, just enjoy it. Do you know, so many people said to me, just enjoy it. And I was getting so in my head about stuff. I didn't need to. And now that I know what happened and I can look back, I smile every time I think about it. And there's so many stories. And even though I've waffled on here and I've gone on about so much stuff, and you might think, oh, you've got, you know, that you could have saved the detail there. There's so much I left out. But just do your best to be present and enjoy it. Like I said before, come off your phone. It's not, it really isn't about that. It's the memories that are the lasting memories. I don't feel any photo or video, even if we videoed the whole weekend, it won't change my memory and my version of it. So just a massive thank you again to my bridal party. You were such a scream. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better lot of girls to share it with. And thank you so much for all the effort and organising that went into it, because I know, obviously, now I've heard all the stories, I know how much it was and how stressful it had been at times. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. I've just had so much fun just like recounting it and, you know, going over everything again. Honestly, if I could, this video would be like 4 hours long, because I would just talk through every single detail and every joke and every event that happened, but obviously that's not realistic. I can't see what else I can make about the hen do, so this is pretty my last hen do video, but it's been a pleasure. It's been an honour to be the bride-to-be. Now we're actually moving on to the real wedding itself. It's funny because I came back and I was like, you know, oh, such a down after the, you know, all the high after the weekend. Oh, such a down. And I thought, you're getting married next. Like, that's the next big thing, is the wedding. So onwards and upwards. And I hope you stick around for the next videos that I'm planning on doing. Kind of like a brief outline so far in my head, but I've got some ideas planned. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.